Hey, it's Mark Ferguson with Invest for More, and for those of you who follow my channel, you might recognize this as the compound. This is a rental property we bought a little over a year ago. It had 3 houses, a commercial property, and it was all occupied. So what I wanted to do today was show you this property and then show you some of my other rentals as well. So we have property managers who manage all of our residential rentals, and it's not a bad idea to either go look at them yourself once in a while or have someone else go look at them if they're out of the area, not close. So I'm gonna do that this week. We'll see how many I get to. I might not get to every property, but we're gonna take a look at the properties, see how they look, and I'll give you some commentary on if it's good or bad, how they look. So here's one of the compound houses, and this blue I thought was absolutely crazy when we first painted it, but it's actually starting to grow on me. I kind of like it. But so far, the property seems to be in pretty decent shape. You know, there's not an abundance of cars or junk anywhere, and that one looks pretty good. So pretty happy with that one, but we literally did just rent it 2 months ago. So hopefully there aren't any problems that quickly into the rental period. And over here, we've got a couple other properties, as I said. So we've got the house right over there, and then this house right over here. And so first off, there's a mattress, 2 mattresses sitting outside. That's not a good sign. That's also a 1-bedroom property, and as you can see, they have a lot of cars. So that has me a little worried. And this one over here, we've had a number of repair requests from the tenants already. They've been there like 2 months, and they talked about the tub needing work and different things. Well, we did some Facebook snooping and found out they have 2 large dogs. We didn't approve 2 large dogs, but it turns out the property managers did without us, so we have some concerns there. We have a lot of concerns with our property managers, actually, but that's a big one. And something that can help you to choose tenants and pick tenants is Facebook stalking them before you rent to them, to see if there are any issues that come up, red flags like lots of dogs, pictures of crimes being committed. We've literally found that before. There's all kinds of interesting things you can learn. Here we are at the next house on the list. This is one we bought in 2015, I believe. Paid like $130 for it. UPS truck, hold on. Paid like $130 for it. It's probably worth $290 now, which is crazy. But this is one we had to remodel a little bit a few years ago. Had some tenants, they didn't really trash it, but they definitely did not leave it super nice. But as you can see, this one looks pretty decent right now. Aside from the tiny little bit of trash in the tree, that's pretty minor. But this one looks okay. They've been paying rent, doing well, so this is a good one. All right, here is another rental. This is one I bought in 2014, I believe. This was an amazing deal too. We bought this for, I think it was $113 as a VA short sale. It needed almost no work when we bought it. Now it's probably worth $330 in that range. And we've had it rented from $1,300 to $1,400. But it is really under rented right now. So that's something we need to think about is, hey, do we slowly start raising the rents on them, find new tenants? It's had the same tenants the entire time I've owned it. So that's nice. They've always paid rent, always been on time. It's in pretty decent shape, but it's a little, you know, you can see some of the Christmas lights are hanging down and a little scraggly looking. The fence over here is a little bit broken. I don't know if that's theirs or the neighbors, but it's not horrible. So, but this one overall isn't in too bad a shape. And not just looking on the outside, but every couple of years I also like to walk through them and check out the insides as well to make sure they're in decent shape. This right here is my very first rental property I ever bought, and we sold it. So it's not one we're checking out to see how well it's managed, but I just thought I would look at it since we're in the area. The yard looks a little rough to be nice, but the rest of the house looks okay. And ironically, while we were driving around doing this, our property manager just called us and said, hey, are you guys out taking pictures? Because one of the tenants just called and said some weirdo in a silver truck is taking pictures. So I guess that's a good sign that our property manager is in contact with our tenants. And it is perfectly legal to be on the street taking pictures, doing videos of houses. So nothing wrong with that. I used to do that all the time when I was doing BPOs for banks for foreclosures. I drive by houses, take pictures of them. I kind of got into a routine where I could do it fairly quickly without crashing into anything, and people didn't notice it. But once in a while, we had people come out and yell at us. One time, I think my wife had someone pull a gun on her. actually, while she's driving by the one time I had her do one. Some things can happen, but it's perfectly legal. And we arrived at another rental. This is one I did a video on a couple years ago about completing a BRRRR deal, a buy, repair, rent, refinance. So this one worked really well for that. I think we bought it for $113 in 2013. Again, it's probably worth $330, maybe even more right now. When we refinanced it, I think it was worth about $220 in that range, something like that. But we were able to refinance it, take all of our money out, still cash flows. And this one looks pretty good, right? I don't see anything to be worried about. So it's always nice to see that. I guess the mailbox has a little bit of peeling paint, but that's pretty minor. Otherwise, this one looks great. So that's good news. Here is the third rental property I ever bought. I think I bought this for $92,000, $94,000 in 2012, I believe. And it's probably worth $330 in that range. And we've had, I think, the same tenants in this property the whole time. And for a while, it was kind of a sister living with her family and then her sister's family. And then one of those families moved out into one of my other rentals. And that was actually the rental that got super trashed, my worst trashed rental ever. I did end up selling that one eventually, but it's just weird how they'd been pretty decent renters for a very long time and then just completely fell apart. This one doesn't look too bad. The paint is looking a little older. Yard isn't too horrible, but I have heard from some of my contractors that the inside is not as nice as it could be, and we've been in it before, and I think they've cleaned up a bunch when we go through it. All right, we're pulling by this house, the one we just saw the side yard, which does not look amazing. So you can see there's kind of trash, tons of bikes, lawnmowers, stuff. So that might be something we talk to our property management about. Hey, this side yard, this stuff needs cleaned up a little bit because it does not look great on that side of it. And again, that could be an indication of what it looks like on the inside as well. All right, I'm cheating again. This is another one that I sold a while back. I actually sold this like 3 or 4 years ago. And I think it was my 5th rental property. Bought it for super cheap too, like $88,000, I think. I think we sold it for around $200, but now it's probably worth $300. The reason I sold it is because it had a super weird floor plan, had almost no dining room, one bedroom you had to get to by going through another bedroom, and it was always really hard to rent. And on top of that, the tenants we had in there were some of the most annoying tenants I've ever had. They're always late on rent. Then we get, notifications from car dealers asking how they paid their rent because they're buying a new car. They'd be late on rent, then they go buy another car. So it was not a good situation, and I was pretty happy to be done with this house just because of the weird floor plan. And next door, you can't tell very well, but that's just a crazy house with tons of additions on the back. Just a ton of money spent on that property. We were in that a couple years ago. I think it might have been a foreclosure just for sale. And we're at another rental property. This one is number 6, I believe. Bought this around 2014, in that range. I think we paid $130 for this one. A little more, but it didn't need hardly any work. It was a foreclosure. Needed very little. It's probably worth $300 again. This one has given us a few problems. We've had the basement sewer back up once or twice and had the line scoped, so don't know why that's happened. And then one story with our current property manager that is not a good one is we got the bill for this recently of having like $800 or $900 of work done to it without telling us. And our property management agreement specifically says any repairs over $300, we have to be notified, we have to approve. So we're very curious why that was done without our approval. So I guess we will find out now if our property managers watch my videos or not, see if they have anything to say. But so a few things going on. That's one reason why we're driving by all the properties to see how they look. This one doesn't look too bad. It's always had kind of that rock yard, which I think is kind of ugly, but we've never really had a problem renting it. So I guess it's worked out. This one is the second rental property I ever bought. So this one we paid $92,000. It was a short sale too, I believe. Kind of rough, but I ended up renting it to my brother-in-law for a while. This one's had a lot of different tenants, probably literally 6 or 7 tenants over the years. We bought it in 2011, but it's been a good rental. This road, as you can see, is somewhat busy, but really not too bad. And we're right across the street from a school. But yeah, not too bad with this one. We did have to clean it up a little bit a year or two ago, but it's really paint and flooring, just a little bit of work. And I have a video of that too that I'll try to link to. But yeah, this one doesn't look too bad either. Looks like it's in pretty decent shape, so that's a good sign as well. Here we have one of our mixed use properties. So this is the back of it. And this is one we have had some problems with. So I definitely want to stop by, even though this one is in a small town farther away from me than those other rentals. But this is a 4-unit property, 3 residential units, 1 very small commercial unit. But the problem we had is we thought everything was going well, everything was rented, everything was great and collecting rent. And then 1 month on our statement, we didn't collect rent from 1 unit. And then we saw the unit for rent on Zillow. And our property manager did not tell us. The tenant, I don't know if they had to evict them, but they didn't pay rent for 2 months. And then they put the place up for rent. We saw the Zillow ad, and it had a couch and bed and furniture in the pictures. It just looked horrible. And they never told us this until we asked them about it. Said, hey, what's going on with this property? So that happened. And then on our last statement, another unit didn't pay rent, and they still haven't told us about that either. What's going on there? So we stopped by to see if that tenant's still here. We think he is, because I'm pretty sure that's his car. I think it says CRX under that tarp. And then there was more charges, like $800 in charges for replacing screens and doing minor work that they didn't tell us about either. And again, they're supposed to approve anything over $300 with us. So a few issues here, and a few reasons why we've been kind of shopping around a little bit, or throwing the idea around of actually doing this stuff ourselves, which we hate because we've done it before and it's just a pain. We had some agents in our office before who handle our property management for us. They sort of liked it, sort of didn't like it. Now they really don't like it. So I think we'd have to hire someone separate if we really want to do all of this in-house and train them and have them do it, which again is a lot of work to do that. So keeping our options open, but definitely have some different concerns about our rentals and their management right now. All right, I think that's all we're going to show you for this video. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate the support, the comments, the likes. So I love it when you hit that like button and tell us what you think of our videos. Keep that up. Welcome new subscribers if you are newer to the channel. And we'll be back with much more soon. And take care.